just saying. No, we had an amazing time. Thank you all so much for your love and your prayers and your support. We knew it was with us the entire time. So our team is made up of Bob and Debbie Noderf, Reverend Jennifer, Julia Kidwell, an awesome college student, and myself, and Austin Miller, who recently graduated from Truman and is now living in the St. Louis area. He joined us as well. And really, our team also included very important parts of our team were the foreman and the skilled worker and the translator that we worked with throughout the week. The foreman is in the back in that picture between Bob and Debbie, Ismael, and Melvin is in the vest. He was the skilled worker. And then Valentine, our translator, he took the picture. And really, they were just as much of a part of our team as these people. It was just incredible to see the ways in which relationships were developed and the way that communication flowed. There was such camaraderie, and just watching the Holy Spirit work was an incredible part of our work as a team. There was good conversation. Valentine was an excellent facilitator of conversation and translation, and so we were able to sit down and converse with our homeowners quite a bit, actually, which was really special. So in this picture, this is our first work location. It is in the middle there is Miguel. He is an 84-year-old widower. He was born in that house, raised in that house, and he lives up in the mountains in a valley with a river flowing nearby. His daughter lives down the road, and then he has other children here in the States. And Miguel was, at one point, Miguel's daughter, Anna, came over and was kind of skeptically watching us the first day just to see, who are these people? What are they doing in my dad's house? Like, are they actually doing a good job? Don't mess anything up. Miguel was walking around, and we were all like cracking jokes or making fun of ourselves when we messed up on something. But at one point we sat down, and Anna just started talking about the hurricane experience, and she just opened up. It was incredible that the river in the valley flooded, and so the house was filled at least 2 feet. Had at least 2 feet of water in it, and people had taken shelter in the school across the street. But as that was flooding, the roof in the school was also caving in, so they had to evacuate. The people who were sheltering in the school had to evacuate during the hurricane, and because of the massive depopulation that has occurred since the hurricane as well, that school has never been. There are over 300 schools that have never been reopened in Puerto Rico. And then they didn't have water for 6 weeks, or electricity for 8 weeks. She said that they were using was it weeks or months? Months, sorry, 6 months, 8 months. They were using the river for water, for bathing and everything, but at one point it started getting so contaminated that if you bathed in it, you would get welts and lesions. And so and then walking down the mountain to get to town to get food, walking over all of the fallen limbs. She started talking and talking and talking, and it was just so incredible that she felt comfortable to open up to us in that way. And one more thing about Miguel, he is a master gardener, and it was such a wonderful way to connect with him. He started showing me all of his trees: papaya, pineapple, mango, tamarind, sugarcane, everything you can think of. He said he had an orange tree, but it was ruined in the hurricane, but everything now he has rebuilt since then. So just to see that regrowth that has come out of that and Anna, as we were back there talking about the garden too, she gestured to it and said, "We are millionaires, not in money, but in this." And that was really just an example of the spirit that we saw, that when it looks like there's death, there is resurrection as well. And Miguel said that he wanted us to come back. He was glad we were there, because then we would be able to come back here and tell people about their experiences, about what they've been through, about what they're going through. He said, I am so glad that you are here because you can go home and tell people. And so to be able to have that honor is really special. Okay, I ramble a little bit. I'm gonna try to speed it up. We had a second, so we finished at Miguel's house, and it was really neat to see the ending of that work. He also said that it was not his fault that he had not too many years left, but that he was going to treasure that house and enjoy it, and it was something that he really treasured to be able to have that house again. The second location we had was on top of a mountain, and way up in the mountains, and Debbie is an amazing mountain driver. Just so you all know, she is a rock star. The entire week we were driving switchbacks in the mountains, down to the coast, back up the mountains. It was crazy, so well done. We so appreciated you. So our second location, he was up on top of the mountain, even deeper in the mountains, and he actually was by a lake, and so he shared with us that after the hurricane, the lake was his source of water, but it was also his source of food. He lived off of what he caught from the lake, as well as the banana trees in his backyard. That's what he lived off of until roads could be cleared, until he could get down the mountain to stores. And that was very, there's a stark contrast between the two houses in a lot of sense, because this one, nothing had been done. We came in partway through on Miguel's house, but we started at the beginning with Jose's house. And so we were removing debris, we were removing rubble, they were knocking down walls, they were it felt more like immediate disaster relief, except this is a year and a half later. So just that sense of there's so much damage and so much that has yet to be done. But, I mean, we think he was living in the house. It was kind of hard to tell. If so, it was just your bare basics. So that was also amazing to hear his story. He shared about he had taken shelter in his house during the hurricane and he was shut in his bedroom, and he could hear all the furniture moving around in the living room and all of the windows and doors breaking open. And it's just the strength and resilience really stood out. So I'm going to pass the mic to Julia. She's going to share another story or two. Let's see. Yeah, that's right.
Hi, I'm Julia. I don't have too much to add to that. That was excellent. A great overview of all the things that we had done. Well, we were finishing up at Jose's house, and our last day, we just grew really closer together as a team. Our translator, Valentin, he had so many questions that were hard to answer, and really put perspective into not only the work we were doing, but just how we were living our lives, and how we were working out our faith in our everyday lives. And as we were wrapping up at the house, our foreman, Ismael, who we mentioned earlier, he's in that picture, he said something to us that just really struck me. He said, of course, we were really tired from all our work. Our muscles were aching. We had to get up early every morning, and he could tell that we were a little tired. He said, so every muscle that aches, every tired breath you take, that is a person in Puerto Rico. That is you feeling their pain on the island and everything that they went through. And when I heard that, I just pictured the thousands and thousands of people whose lives were completely changed by this event. How we were making just a tiny little impact, like a drop in the bucket, on that tragedy. And just throughout the whole week, God was so present for all of us in so many ways, but just how green and beautiful and sunshiny the island was when we were going on those mountain roads. We would turn a curve, and all of a sudden there would be this beautiful vista, and there were rainbows. So many of the days we could just, about every day. We could go and we could watch the waves wash into the shore, and we had worship out there, and we sang, Lord, you have come to the lake shore, and you could just feel God's presence. So it wasn't only in the work we were doing, but it was just the beauty around us. And that was also the restorative part as well. It was just the growth and the rebirth, not only in the island of Puerto Rico, but in our own lives. And it was just beautiful to see.
There are so many more stories to share, my friends, and I invite you to ask any one of these people. We're all still trying to figure out how to share all of those stories, and we just happen to be the ones that get to talk today, but please ask us the next few weeks, because here's the thing, we don't actually have to go to Puerto Rico to experience God, right? We experience God here in this place, and in a few moments we're going to do that in a new kind of way. Is there anything else we want to share?
Julia was there to make a card for Scott. Reverend Scott had a birthday while we were there. So Julia sat on the mountainside, had brought parchment paper and watercolors, and it's an amazing looking card she made that we all signed. So I want to mention that. And then we had so many angels of mercy that would help Debbie when she hit her face into the pavement, and that we were overwhelmed with the outpouring of the love from those people around, not only our own team, but people from Puerto Rico that were there too.
There were many, many angels around us, and God was present.